In the spring of 1944, the Allied plan for the invasion of Europe was ready. London seemed calm, but as the air assault against Germany grew in intensity, so the tension in the capital became acute. On a certain day in May, from offices in quiet London squares where so much of the planning had been done, operational orders were sent out. And from the north, east and west began the movement of men and materials towards the special areas which had been prepared to receive them in the south. As the vast convoys converged towards the points of embarkation, the people of England saw for the first time something of the mighty war machine that had sprung from their own labors and those of the people of the United States. Leading south to the sea grew more and more close-packed with tanks, trucks and guns. And in harbours all over Britain, ships of the invasion fleets cast off and began to move down coastal waters to the Channel. Many of these little ships had been built far from the sea in the heart of America. Others hailed from the Mersey or the Clyde. Escort vessels, assault craft, tank and infantry landing craft were crammed into the harbours of the south coast. In the concentration areas, officers and men studied maps and models of the enemy-held coastline they were soon to attack. Photographic reconnaissance by the RAF and the 8th and 9th U.S. Army Air Forces, which had gone on ceaselessly through the past weeks, made it possible to pass on to the men detailed and accurate information of the enemy defenses. They knew, these men, that nothing had been left undone, and they would go out from England with a confidence born of knowledge and strength. They knew where they were going and why. The army had trained hard and waited long for this. 4 years, some of them. Some were at Dieppe. Others fought through the Desert War and on to Salerno. Many would be seeing action for the first time. When do we start? Was the question on everyone's lips. On the night of the 5th of June, 1944, the Supreme Commander, General Eisenhower, gave the signal for the attack on Hitler's fortress of Europe to begin. As dawn broke on that grey June morning, the greatest armada of ships the world has ever seen filled the narrow waters of the English Channel. Protected from the sea by the combined fleets and by the air forces in the sky above. Once again, we were back on the soil of France. Parachutists and airborne troops had done their work well. The much vaunted Atlantic wall was cracked, and through the crack poured our main assault forces to fight their way inland. Strong points were bypassed and mopped up by succeeding waves of infantry. The German High Command, not knowing from which direction the real thrust would come, and fearing landings elsewhere on the north coast of France, was reluctant to commit its main forces, and supported by the heavy guns of the fleets, the beachhead was secured. The first real counterattack of the evening of D-Day was held, and on June the 7th, all the beaches were cleared of the enemy. When General Montgomery established his headquarters in Normandy 3 days later, he was able to say, "We have won the Battle of the Beaches." Even before the Germans left it, the old Norman town of Bayeux put out its flags to welcome the liberating army. The foothold in Normandy was secured, and the British and Canadians battled their way south towards Caen. On July the 10th, the town was cleared as far as the Orne River. But our true objective was the enemy's armor, which, although knocked about, was still virtually intact. Over 1,000 Lancasters and Halifaxes of Bomber Command, operating in daylight for the first time, and also for the first time against the German army in the field, blasted a corridor east of the Orne. The Germans withdrew, and the whole of Caen was ours. Infantry advanced into the battered town, and our armor was able to cross the Orne in great strength. This was not a complete breakthrough, but to hold us had strained the enemy to his utmost.